What is going on, Niner fans? The 49ers, they did have training camp practice today. They did not have an open practice, but I was there. Shout out to my boys at Gold Bar Whiskey. They hooked it up today. I was able to do a private, friends and family, VIP, whatever you want to call it, training camp. I was able to go and see the training camp like I have been going. I didn't get to miss a day today because of the great sponsorship by Gold Bar Whiskey. And today they gave us food. It was good. VIP. They gave us some ribs. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, the food was like top tier. So shout out to them, Gold Bar Whiskey. You guys are awesome. It's great to have the sponsors. So I'm blessed. But training camp today, there was a lot of news, a lot of transactions early in the morning, and we got to see some of those players. 49ers cut some people. They brought some people in. There's a lot of injuries. We're going to talk about the injuries. There's a lot of uncertainty right now going on with these injuries. And again, I was a little worried about some of these guys. And today we saw, some updates, especially on like Juwan Jennings and things like that. So let's get to it. We'll get to the news. We'll get to the updates. We'll get to the injuries, all of that stuff. Earlier this morning, the 49ers, they signed Ameer Abdullah. This was the first news of the day. Ameer Abdullah, running back. And you were thinking, why are they signing a running back? Yesterday, we were talking about how they were working out all these running backs. Jeff Wilson was among them, but they went with Ameer Abdullah. He can catch, a little bit. He can add that catching ability out of the backfield. He could probably be a return man. I know he's a little older, but they need some guys that can get through training camp, some camp bodies. And it appears that Jordan James, the rookie, has a knee injury. We don't know how severe it is, but he didn't practice today with a knee injury. We noticed the other day he wasn't there. I was hoping it wasn't a big thing, and I'm still hoping it's not a big thing. But Jordan James did not practice. They signed Ameer Abdullah to the roster. So, I'm a little worried. Jordan James has been a fantastic rookie so far this year during training camp. So, I don't know. I'm just really hopeful that it's nothing serious for Jordan James because he looks like he's going to be a good player for the 49ers. But let's get to some of these comments before we get on. Steven Reynolds says, what's going on? Tej Beats says, Scary Terry. We'll talk about some Terry McLaurin a little later. Christine says, what's up? Looked like you had a blast today. Yeah, it was a good day today. It was a VIP day. The vibes were like really fun, exciting, and, they were pretty cool. They weren't as lenient today. So it was nice. And again, you can't complain about free food. They took care of us, man. Shout out to Gold Bar Whiskey. They gave me there was a lot of food, man. Some mac and cheese, some ribs, some brisket. I mean, the food was really good. I wish we could eat food like that every day at training camp, but you can't, unfortunately. So definitely blessed with all the food that they had provided us today. Do I see Trey Lance cooking? Yeah, I'm watching. My favorite. I told you, Harbaugh's gonna fix him. He's gonna hit the pads, and he did it. That moment was just so nostalgic. Love to see it. So good stuff. Mario Gonzalez says Jennings is really hurt. Wouldn't be letting go wide receivers. Don't you think he wants to get paid? Well, they are letting go wide receivers, but they're also bringing in some guys. So let's get through the rest of this news. So the 49ers, they worked out yesterday, Andy Isabella, and they actually signed Andy Isabella today. And he was out there. I got a video of him, which is going pretty viral. He made his training camp debut with the 49ers. Everybody's saying he looks like a kicker. He looks small. I mean, he looks tiny. I mean, he's 5'9". I mean, he's not a huge receiver, but you can tell he doesn't look like a huge guy. Ricky Pearsall was back today. And then let's get to the rest of the signings. The 49ers signed Carter Bradley, quarterback, Gus Bradley's son. So, the defensive assistant, Gus Bradley, they signed his son. They worked him out, and they signed him. It's a Nepo baby. It's a Nepo baby signing. He probably said, hey, Dad, can I play for the 49ers? Yeah, sure, Dad. You're sure. So he signed him. We talked about Ameer Abdullah. They signed Marcus Callaway. He was out there today wearing number 3. And then Andy Isabella. They all signed 2 one-year deals. So I saw all of those guys out there. They activated Ben Barch off the NFI list, and he was out there playing left guard with the first team. Ben Barch back at it. He's a starter. He's off the NFI list. He had a quad injury, but it's good to see that Ben Barch was out there. I'm praying that he could stay healthy. The 49ers released Equanimeous St. Brown. They waived offensive lineman Sebastian Gutierrez, and they waived Malik Knowles. They also waived the safety Jalen Mahoney. I felt like Mahoney was playing pretty good in training camp, but I mean, he was buried in the roster. They could probably bring him in on the practice squad. So again, They released St. Brown. They waived Sebastian Gutierrez. They waived Malik Knowles, wide receiver, and they waived Jalen Mahoney. So sad for them. Good news is Michael Williams, who had the ankle issue, he returned to practice. They said it was minor, and it appears that it was minor. He was back at practice, and that was very good to see. Ricky Pearsall was back, but there was a lot of players that didn't practice today. Let's talk about it. Diamond Lenore, Jordan James, Jacob Cowing, and Jawan Jennings. They did not practice. It was a veteran day off for Nick Bosa, Trent Williams, CMC, and Kyle Juszczyk. Let's talk about those guys that didn't practice today, shall we? Diamond Lenore, he's dealing with hip irritation, and he's expected to miss this block of 3 practices, so he's probably going to miss 2 more. This was the first of the 3. He's going to miss tomorrow and Saturday. He should be back next week. Hip irritation. I really hope that it's not too serious because Diamond Lenore, we need him out there. These cornerbacks, I mean, there's not a lot of depth. Today, Renardo Green wasn't out there. Upton Stout was pretty much your main guy with Trey Brown, and Upton Stout got abused on one-on-ones. He's looking good in training camp, but today they were going right at him. We talked about Jordan James. He has a knee injury, and he's going to be reevaluated throughout the week. This is according to Kyle Shanahan. So this was a really bad update, in my opinion. I hope it's nothing serious. They're going to reevaluate it. But knee injuries for running backs, you just never know. So it's training camp. Let's hope that he's okay. But yeah, Jordan James was out of practice again, and that's why they signed Amir Abdullah today. So we were wondering, why are you bringing in a running back when you have all these running backs? And we figured out it was because Jordan James is dealing with injury. And the big injury news of the day, this one was kind of the one that really took the headlines, and it's getting a lot of attention, a lot of comments, because this is a guy that right now is our top wide receiver. Jawan Jennings re-aggravated the same calf that was bothering him during OTAs. There's no timetable for his return, ladies and gentlemen. There's absolutely no timetable. They don't know when he's coming back. The other day, your offense coordinator, Clay Kubiak, says we're taking it day by day. We don't know how severe it is. And again, today, Kyle Shanahan, he confirmed that it was the same calf that he aggravated in OTA. So that's not good. The calf injury he's been dealing with all off season. And, he's trying to get paid. You can't pay a guy if your calf's bothering you. A calf injury is very scary. We saw what happened last year with Christian McCaffrey. He had the Achilles injury, right? Bilateral Achilles tendonitis, because he was dealing with calf soreness, and it led to the Achilles. A couple of years back, Dre Greenlaw, he was dealing with some calf issues, calf tightness, throughout the season, and then boom, he ruptured his Achilles in the Super Bowl. So it's a scary injury. Calf injuries are no bueno, ladies and gentlemen. So those were the big updates of the day. A lot of news, a lot of signings, a lot of roster transactions. Everybody's tweaking out because of these injuries. I'm a little bit scared for Jawan Jennings, but I'm happy that Ricky Pearsall is back. He looks good when he's playing. Like, I'll tell you what, Ricky Pearsall just looks so smooth out there. He looks buttery. When he plays, he looks good, but they're being very careful with Ricky Pearsall. So let's take a look back some of these more comments as we go through this live. Debbie says, hey, Raj, what's up, Debbie? Julia says, I wish the Niners could have signed Marquez so I can save money on that custom jersey. Nathan, what's up? Niner Gang says, it's trade day, Raj. It is trade day. You're right. Niner Gang says, lots of injuries. Not a good sign. The Niners, they get injuries every year. I know every team does, but, right now it just seems like there's just too much to be dealing with right now. You got Jacob Cowing, Renardo Green, Jawan Jennings, all these guys, Diamond Lenore. They're important players. We can't go into the season with key players banged up, but hopefully by week 1 of the season, all these guys can be ready to play. So I'm worried. Christine says, Terry McLaurin, John needs to try to get him. I would love Terry McLaurin. I know he requested a trade today. I bet you Deebo Samuel's whispering in his ear, request the trade. You got his boy Deebo. It's a little coincidental, but Terry McLaurin's wanted a contract all offseason, and now I think he tried to let's get it started. Let's light the fire. Let's light the wick. Let's light the candle. Let's get this contract situation rolling. That's how you do it as a player. These guys want their money, and these situations is you have to make the noise. And now he finally requested a trade, and now let's see if the Commanders will pay him. We'll see what he's going to get. he's a great receiver. He's one of the best receivers in the last couple of years, man. He's worth money. He's a dog, and you want to make sure JD5 has a top target to throw to. I mean, Debo's there, but Terry McLaurin's your wide receiver one, so we'll see. How is Junior Bergen looking, says Brady? Yeah, he's looking okay. Nothing crazy. It's not like he's making big spectacular plays. Like, he'll make a few plays here and there. I mean, they're really focusing him on like the returns, but nothing spectacular out of Junior Bergen. I think that's a guy that you're really going to need to see what he can do during the preseason, return game. Is he going to be able to be that punt return specialist? And I think that's what they're really waiting for. They're just trying to make sure he's getting down, his feet right, his timing down with returns, and he's not being utilized much in the passing game. Guys like Russell Gage have looked good. We've heard about players like Jordan Watkins. Jordan Watkins today, man, had another good day in the second team. He played a lot. He had a lot of catches over the middle from Mac Jones. Mac Jones looked great today, very confident. He's definitely going to be a good backup in the system. Brock Purdy looked fantastic. I don't think he missed a pass today. I think he was pretty much perfect. There was a play where he fumbled it, but that was D. Winters coming into the backfield. D. Winters, man, the guy's the real deal. He was the real deal, Holyfield, in training camp. I think, honestly, D. Winters is probably the best defensive player in training camp this season here right now. Right now, if I had to give one player the gold star, who's the best player in training camp, that's got to be D. Winters. It's been unbelievable. Today, he got right into the backfield. He was making some big hits. He dropped another thudding, shoulder. I think it was Guerendo. It's the second time I've seen him just drop the shoulder on Guerendo. And then, he got into the backfield. He disrupted a pass. It was like a pass breakup. I think they called it a fumble. If it was a real game, it would have been a fumble. This man's terrorizing that offense, dude. D. Winters looks amazing. I love what I see out of him. Jordan Watkins, I talked about him. The deep play of the day, Brock Purdy, dime, 75 yards. He hits DeMarcus Robinson in stride. You guys saw the highlight. They showed it on the webpage finally, but I'm telling you, man, this man, Brock Purdy's deep pass has gotten really good this year. It's gotten better. I mean, he maybe he needed a little more touch last year. He couldn't get that ball out too much sometimes. And I feel like that dad strength might have been just what the doctor ordered. Now he can heave it up. And it was a beautiful pass today. He's had some really good plays in training camp, and it's been the deep balls that he's been chucking up. We saw the Jordan Watkins one. Now we see the DeMarcus Robinson. He's had some really, really outstanding plays, and it's fun to watch, man. If that play can develop, if you can continue to build that rapport with your receivers, if you can continue to build that deep ball accuracy and that confidence in Brock Purdy, it's another weapon. It's dangerous, and teams will be able to, have to respect it. Because once you start running the ball, you got CMC, and teams are going to start stacking the box, boom, play action over the top, and that's what we want to see. So, good stuff. Let's see. Brady says he has to earn a spot on the 53, or he'll be practice squad. I think you talked about Bergeron. I agree. Everyone's worst nightmare says Lions versus Chargers preseason is going on. I know. I'm watching it in the background. Trey Lance, he's been making some nice plays. He threw there was one pass. He threw it right into the bucket of the receiver. That was nice. Jim Harbaugh, man, he does miracles on quarterbacks. So I'm watching this as we're talking. Brady says, I like the idea of having a solid number 2 quarterback. We need a backup. You never know. I mean, hopefully Brock stay healthy through the whole season, but things happen. You never know. Knock on wood, nothing happens, but you got to have a good backup. Any team in the league needs to have a good backup, 100%. That's just facts, right? So 100%, we need to make sure that Brock can be healthy. And Mario says, now Winters is going to get hurt every time we hype someone up or they get up. No, I don't think so, but he's gonna be putting hits on people, man. If I'm a team that's playing the Niners, I'm not gonna look forward to playing D. Winters because he's gonna be dropping the hits, man. And I feel like he's gonna be like Dre Greenlaw. He was just that aggressive enforcer. You need that. You need that enforcer. You need like the guy that's gonna just be there to not let anybody get past that wave of defense, not let anybody take advantage and have that intimidation factor. You need to have that guy that's like, oh man, look at the Winters over there. I don't know if I want to run that way. I don't know if I want to go towards that side. You need that guy that's just so aggressive that you start getting scared. It starts getting in your head. Just Fred Warner is amazing. He's a dog. It's like, okay, I don't want to run towards Fred Warner. I don't know if I want to run towards D Winters because he's rip my head off. I don't want to run to either one of them. So then you have to really get inside their head. And I think if D Winters can be that type of guy this year, that's going to be awesome. It's going to be a big factor because last year nobody cared about Devondre Campbell. Nobody was scared of him. Everybody was running towards his side. I mean, you can have an 80-year-old lady run towards his side and probably run his weak ass over. So we need a guy like D Winters that's not afraid to drop the hammer on anybody. So good stuff. When's the Niners' first preseason game? August 9th against the Broncos. Next Saturday. AJ says, am I going live with Jake this season? Or are you guys starting during preseason? It's going to start during the season. I don't think we're going to do too much during preseason. He's still getting his stuff set up. But, yeah, we'll be live during the season as we always are. My boy, Jake. We'll be doing it. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's pretty much the news of the day. Let me see if I missed anything. I don't think I did, but yeah, the biggest concern to me right now is these injuries, man. I am very, very worried about 49ers injuries. I really am. I'm just scared because this team is good. They have some talent. You have some really amazing players, some highly paid players, Kittle and Warner and Bosa and all these guys, but injuries can really derail a season, and it did last year, and I hope that it doesn't do it this year. That's why I'm treading lightly. I know everybody's excited, easy schedule, 14 wins. People are making predictions, 15 wins, 13. I'm going to tread lightly. I'm going to say we're going to win 10 wins just because the fact of you can't really predict injuries, and those things can take a factor in a game. So we'll see. But I like the young guys. Again, Michael Williams was back today. It's good to have him back. He looks really good. I don't think he's much of an outside rusher, so hopefully Bryce Huff can really be that presence we need. But Michael Williams is so good rushing on the inside. He's great at setting the edge. Then the other guy that everybody's raving about is CJ West. That guy, he's amazing. He didn't. So today I was a little irritated because they had the one-on-one drills for the pass rush way on the other side. It was like way out there where they usually had the practice. It was hard to see, and I didn't have a good vantage point. I'm behind, I'm on the bleachers. So I was like trying to get a good view. Didn't really get the best. So I didn't really get to see all the one-on-ones. I was a little irritated because that's what, oh man, Trey Lance, another touchdown. Go Trey, baby. I was trying to really hone in on that section. I couldn't really see, but I did see a few reps of CJ West. And the guy's a monster, dude. The guy he's unbelievable. That guy's so nasty. He just wins his reps with ease. And he's like so aggressive. So good to see that. Yeah, shout out to Brock Purdy, though. That deep pass is looking good. And Demarcus Robinson has been very consistent. He's been very, very consistent so far. I think every day he's made some type of play. So I like the signing of Demarcus Robinson, honestly. When this team is healthy, wide receiver's not a bad spot. So we'll see. Yeah, definitely. Demarcus Robinson was a solid value pick, man. Good receiver. I was really excited through today when I saw that deep pass because he's been shining through training camp. So good for him. Let's see. A couple other notes do I have here? Yeah, like I said, CJ West looked good when I did see him out there. It was hard to get a vantage point. Ben Barch there. We mentioned that. Let's see. Niners. Okay, so let's take a look at this note, though, that Nick Wagner wrote. He did say that, the quarterback position was mainly Darrell Luter, Dallas Flowers, and Upton Stout as their top three on Thursday. So it tells you, man, this team has a lot of cornerbacks that don't have much experience. They have combined 5 NFL starts. They were all by Flowers in 2023 and 2022. Darrell Luter and Upton Stout do not have any starts under their belt. Obviously, Upton Stout's a rookie, but I'm telling you, man, we really need to make sure that Renardo Green and Diamo Lenore can be healthy because if they're not, we have a very, very, very inexperienced secondary. And it was on full display today. It was on full display. Mac Jones looked good and Brock Purdy looked good. And it's not because they're playing against weak corners, but it's like they were taking advantage of these matchups. They were just dotting it up. So I think might be a little different if Diamond Lenoir's out there. It might be different if Renardo Green's out there. But it's good to see Brock making great plays. It's good to see Mac Jones making good plays. But the secondary does concern me a little bit. So Trey Lance will fit into Jim Harbaugh's scheme. He really will, man. MSQ says, I know Sorensen wasn't a good DC, but can we agree that he didn't have the defense that Wilkes, Salah, Ryans had? I mean, I don't know, man. They did have good plays. You still had Diamond Lenoir. You had Dre Greenlaw. Unfortunately, he got hurt last year, or he wasn't playing. Okay, you still had Fred Warner. You still had Nick Bosa. You know, you had Leonard Floyd, who everybody was hyped up. You had Hargrave. He did get hurt. But, I mean, you can't make that excuse. The Niners still had some really good talent on that defense. Yeah, maybe some of those players didn't, fit the bill compared to, like, what Salah had. I mean, he had DeForest Buckner and Richard Sherman. Like, that defense was unbelievable. But I'll tell you what, man. You can't sit there and say that they didn't have good players on that defense last year. I know a lot of them, there was a couple players that were banged up and stuff, but they still had a Fred Warner and Nick Bosa. Nick Sorensen just didn't seem like he understood how to be a defense coordinator. He was wet behind the ears, and obviously he never was a defensive coordinator. But to your point, obviously Wilkes and Salah had better players on defense. I'll give you that. But overall, stay healthy. That was it today. I will not be at training camp tomorrow because it is not an open practice, and I didn't get a sponsorship invite. So hopefully we get some good coverage from people out there, but I'll be looking for all the updates as they come, and we'll be talking to you. And if there's any news, we'll be live, and we'll talk about it eventually during the day. You guys have a good rest of your day. Go Niners, and let's hope that Jauan Jennings can come back and that calf injury isn't too significant. You guys have a good rest of your night.